Welcome to a February archive video. It's basically just music, movies, books, video games. I don't think I played any this month though, except for Fortnite. So yeah, this is just gonna be a ramble session, trying to be more mindful of what content I consume and be able to think a little bit more critically about it instead of just, oh, I consumed some slop, it was good, or whatever. So I have some notes. I'm gonna start with the books. So one day actually this was like last year in December, I was like scrolling and I saw this like fan edit of the It movie, or I guess it was the show, because they play that little song, you know, like the smile is something special. I don't know, it's a really good song. I really like that song. I like the song so much, so I might as well read the book. And that was an undertaking because that book is like 1,200 pages long. Like, why is it that long? It did not need to be that long. It by Stephen King came out in 1986. The thing that like surprised me with this book was that it's really hopeful. It has a really hopeful ending, which kind of caught me off guard because usually Stephen King isn't all that hopeful. There will be spoilers, but I'll put a warning for you guys. The thing that surprised me most, and I'm familiar with the movie because like I was on Tumblr when the movie was popular and everyone was feeling a certain way about that clown, I guess. I was surprised that there wasn't a huge amount of emphasis on Pennywise. Obviously had a big presence in the book, that's the main antagonist, but the clown aspect wasn't just honed in on too much except for the balloons. He would just take the form of other things, which I was surprised by. The characters that I liked were Richie. He's my favorite character. I kind of consider him the protagonist because even though the main guy is supposed to be Bill, I feel like Richie kind of steals the show. So Richie fans, beep beep if you get it. Non-Richie fans, like, get out of here. We don't want you here. I also like Ben's character because I feel like there would have been so easy to just fall into like, oh, the silly fat comic relief character, but Stephen King really fleshed him out quite a bit and made him an intelligent character, not just the silly, like, oh, he's fat. Now, I wish the same could be said of Beth, because, like, one of my gripes with this book is how he writes Beth and how Stephen King, in general, writes women. It's not all that good. Maybe he changed since 1986, but when it comes to Beth, and it's just like, oh, her trauma, and oh, look at her chest, or something like that. And which was kind of frustrating, but not really that surprising, especially as someone who comes from classical. Disappointing, but whatever. I didn't like Stan at first, I will say that. I thought he was kind of just like, oh, we needed another character, but by the end of it I did like Stan because of like that thing that happened. Horrible, but that's sort of the point of his character. I loved how insane Henry was. Like, what is his problem? What is wrong with this kid? It does go into why he is the way he is, but it's still not a good reason. Alright, I guess spoilers are kind of coming here. But the whole bit where he can do whatever he wants, but the minute someone throws a rock at him, he just fixates on the rocks. And so every time he appears after the rock scene, he's always saying, oh, I'll teach you to throw rocks. I'll teach you to throw rocks. Calm down. So I did enjoy him. I liked Victor as well. I kind of thought there would be like a redemption arc there, but he just dies. And the thing is, this book was too long. It did not need to be 1,200 pages long. They're in no world. And the thing is, like, you can see the stuff that need to be cut. Like, the whole thing with Bev's husband and the hyping up of Henry, like, leaving from the asylum. Those two could have been combined because there was so much hype for Henry getting out of the asylum and finding them. in the adult portion of the book. And then he just, like, immediately dies. So what was all that build up for? And the same with Bev's husband. He immediately dies. So there was no point to either of those storylines except for Beverly's husband bringing Bill's wife down to its domain. The parts where it's not dragging are very good, especially the main storyline. Anytime it deviates from the main storyline, I was just kind of like, are we doing this right now? I like the friendship between all of them. Did not like that weird scene near the end where they're lost in the sewers. Like, a little bit concerning there, Stephen. But that's just my personal opinion. I also kind of did like the chemistry between Ben and Beverly, which I usually hate romance subplots, but this one was okay. But yeah, I like the theme that showed up near the ending of, like, hope and revisiting your childhood, even though your childhood was like getting chased by a clown. I thought that was kind of nice, kind of happy, kind of hopeful. I don't really like rating books out of 5, or I don't really like rating anything out of 5 because I feel different at different points of the book, and maybe that makes me a bad reviewer, but it does not make me happy to rate a book out of a number. That's why I don't really use Goodreads or Letterboxd or whatever. But I would definitely rate this a Chuckalicious out of 10. If you know, you know. So on to music. I listened to the photo album by Death Cab for Cutie. It came out in 2001, and I picked it because I've been listening to We Laugh Indoors for years, and I never explored the album, and I'm trying to listen to more albums this year just because I have a really bad habit of just listening to the same song over and over and over and over and over again, and I'd like to find some new music, and if I like a bunch of songs from an album, why wouldn't I listen to an album? But this, I wasn't a huge fan, to be honest. I found it kind of depressing and repetitive, but when it was good, it was good. I really liked Movie Script Ending. Like, I think that was a single from the album. It has a really, like, cozy vibe to it. I don't know how to describe it, but it was really good. I listened to the album a couple times. It didn't really stick with me. Blacking Out the Friction was decent as well, but it's just not an album that I think I'm gonna reach for all that often. I do like the sound when it's good though, so I probably will check out another album. If there's any Death Cab fans tuning in, please drop your recommendations. And I was kind of scared to listen to this one because I really liked one of the songs off it, The Similar Situation with Death Cab. It's called A Cross and a Girl Named Blessed by Evans Blue, and it's pretty good. Like, this is right up my alley. This is more of the stuff that I listen to. But this is like hard rock in the same vein of Breaking Benjamin. It's a little emo, but that's okay. I got the album wrong, by the way. It's called The Melody and the Energetic Nature of Volume, and I just said the name of the first song because I really, really like that song. It's my new favorite. I also really like Cold, Beg, and Eclipse, which I think a lot of them are singles. Really good stuff. If you like hard rock from the early 2000s, you'll probably like this if you haven't already listened to it. I didn't like one song. There's like a guest with background vocals. I didn't really like it. I thought the lyrics were kind of creepy, and I thought the song had a really weird country vibe going for it that the rest of the album didn't have, and yeah, that's my only gripe with it. I would probably listen to this album quite a lot in the coming weeks. On to movies, which I watched. How many movies do you think I watched this month? If you guessed one, you're right. I watched one movie. I don't know, movies are like a commitment issue. And it was a rewatch, well, sort of. I watched the extended version of the first Hobbit movie. I've never seen the extended. I've only seen the theatrical cut, so I gave it a watch. I know a lot of people on Reddit don't like this movie, and I will say, yeah, it's not as good as Lord of the Rings, but also, like, Lord of the Rings sets a ridiculously high bar. so who cares if The Hobbit wasn't as good? It was still pretty decent. I really liked it. The extended edition is definitely worth it, except for like the rock monster fight. I will say that was a bad choice, even though that wasn't the book. That was not necessary at all, because I remember the Ashram did not have a song with the Goblin King, and I did enjoy that. I thought that was fun. Don't watch it right after Lord of the Rings, because then you'll just be like, it's not as good. Well, yeah, obviously. It's okay if you don't like the movie, but I'm kind of defensive over it. And then someone who read the book before I watched the movie. I know there's a lot of Jacksonisms in the movies because he stressed it into 3 movies. I don't know if 2 and 3 are as good because I've also not seen them in a while, but I probably will get around to them. This is a fun fantasy movie, which fantasy genre I will not judge harshly. You can give me any trash from the fantasy genre and I will be like, this is delicious. I don't really like TV shows because, again, commitment issue. Okay, like a movie is 2 hours long, right? Okay, but it's 2 hours and then it's over. A TV show is like 40 minutes. 40 minutes. Just give me the whole thing now, please. So yeah, I don't really watch so much TV shows, but these you don't have to watch in order. You don't really need to pay that much attention because they're just watching bad movies. Which, if you don't know what Mystery Science Theater is basically they watch bad movies and like make fun of them. So it's right up my alley. And the whole reason I started watching it was because one time I was watching a movie with someone and they told me that I treat movies like I'm in Mystery Science Theater, and I was like, what's that? And then they told me, and then I watched it. And okay, so anyway, what I watched this month was Pod People, which was great. Sinbad, which I kind of do want to watch the real version of the movie because it honestly doesn't seem that bad. Also, it's a fantasy movie, and we've already established that I don't rank fantasy movies as harshly as I rank other movies. Overdrawn at the Memory Bank, very good. I think that's all I watched. Oh, wait, I forgot. Okay, so there's this really, really good Whimsigoth playlist. I don't even know how I found it. I think it was just in my recommendations. It's not really just the playlist. The playlist is cool, and I've listened to it about 20 times. It's called Whimsigoth Witch Playlist, and it's by the account Coffin. In listening to it, I kind of found one of the best songs ever, and it's called Witchcraft by the Graveyard Club. I've never heard of the song before. I've never even heard of the band. 4 minutes and 29 seconds of pure ecstasy. It is such a good song. I listened to it and it's like, oh, music can be good. Once I listened to it, I sent it to all my friends because I had to share the love. I will link it and the Whimsigoth playlist in the description. I'll actually link everything. I forgot to like the video. Oops, just liked it now. Speaking of which, if you've gotten this far, please leave a like and a comment if you want. If you have any recommendations or even just want to say what you consumed this month. Also, please do subscribe. I will probably be making one of these every month. I think this is the outro unless I watch something or read something. But yeah, I will see you next time and shine on.